Welcome, everybody, to Cornubia Park Sports Complex as the Logan Thunder host the University of Sunshine Coast Rip in a QBL women's game. And I'm John Guarna. I'm joined tonight by my man, Thunder Dan George. It's going to be a tight game. The Rip coming into this game off of their first win of the season, actually, a 65-57 win at Toowoomba. Kristen Langhorne had 23 points and 7 rebounds, and Andrea Shaw had the first triple-double in the history of the University of Sunshine Coast Rip, either men or women, with 10 points, 19 rebounds, and 10 blocks. Dan, I know you love a big person in the middle, Andrea Shaw, putting up a triple-double on the night. So the Rip will come into tonight with a bit of confidence against a wounded Logan outfit coming off of a loss.
No, it's impressive. Anytime you can look at numbers like that, obviously a pretty talented group. And if it's a new team into the comp, that's probably going to take a bit of time for them to come together as a group. So it's obviously taken them a few weeks, but performances like what you just read out, John, they're obviously peaking at the moment, and I think it shapes up for a pretty good match here against, like you said, a good Logan team, although maybe a bit under strength at the moment.
Yeah, Logan comes in off the back of a loss, and it was a fairly comprehensive loss last week, 69-54 to Brisbane. Brisbane just absolutely dominated that game defensively. They held Logan to 16 points in the first half. Logan only managed 4 points in the second quarter. Brisbane did a great job on Kate Gaze. She was the top scorer in that game for Logan with 14 points, but she only shot 4 of 23. She came into that game off of a Player of the Week award where she dropped, I think, over 60 points in 2 games. So you can't imagine Kate Gaze is going to stay down that long.
Well, I think one thing for sure, and looking at those stats last week, 4 of 23 stood out, obviously, and if a team's putting up 4 points in a quarter, 50 points in a match, they can play as good a defense as they want. If they can't score, it's going to be tough to get a win. But I think anytime you've got a quality player like Kate Gaze is, she's going to take another 20 shots tonight, and you'd suggest that it's unlikely that she only hit 4 of them. So she's probably due on her home court to bounce back strongly and hopefully lead this team to a win, like we said, over really improving Rip side. Yeah, the Rip will see Frances Donders return to the lineup tonight. She is an impressive player. So this is going to be the first time we see the Rip really with their full-strength squad now that they've added Claire Marie O'Brien to Frances Donders, Kristen Langhorne, and Andrea Shaw. So I'm expecting a much better matchup tonight versus the Logan Thunder. And you see right away you got Shaw going to jump the ball with Scar Reese for the Logan Thunder. Rip are going to come out with Donders, Langhorne, O'Brien, Shaw, and Hannah Bede. Logan is going to answer with Reese, Ambrose, Donnelly, Smith, and Gaze. Rip come up with it, and Donders has it right away. Out to O'Brien. O'Brien nearly has her pocket picked. She recovers, though. Gets it back to Langhorne. Langhorne takes a few steps, gets the layup, is good. She did take a few steps, but got 2 points on the board. And I think the Logan lineup, I know they've had some injuries, but the names you just read out, John, there's some quality WNBL experience. So you'd expect a group like that, with that sort of experience and some veterans on their list, to come out and really perform well at home.
Yeah, Gaze takes her first shot of the night. It's a miss. And here's an interesting matchup. Donders going against Cassie Smith. Andrea Shaw going to put it on the deck, gets it out to Langhorne. Rip being very patient here. Donders has it. She can shoot the rock. She dribbles to the left, goes inside. No one's cutting, and Donnelly comes up with it. Donnelly now 1-on-2 is going to stop and pop. That's good from Michaela Donnelly. Nice jump shot there by Michaela. It's going to be an interesting matchup in the backcourt. Both of these teams, that's where their strength is. Donders again throws the ball away. So 2 turnovers in a row for Frances Donders. She's been out for probably over a month now, so she definitely have a bit of rust on the old wheels.
Yeah, it's definitely showing. Two turnovers and 2 possessions, not a great way to start, but got to credit Logan's defense as well, but Shaw's got some great length. You can see her blocking the shot inside there. Yeah,
10 blocks in a game, that's never easy. Shaw picks up her first one on that possession on Scar Reese. I like what Reese does there, though. Take the jump shot to try and draw Shaw away from the basket. Langhorne has it stolen by Smith. 2-2 is the score. 8:09 to go. Donnelly shoots a jump shot. O'Brien scraps for the rebound. Looking to be tied up. Referee's going to blow the whistle. They're going to call it jump ball. Coach Van Dongen, though, going to take a timeout here. He doesn't like what he sees early from the University of Sunshine Coast Rip. What do you see out on the court? If you're Coach Van Dongen, what are you telling the team now?
Well, obviously, we don't know exactly what they're trying to run. And I think one of the reasons we don't know is that they haven't been able to get into anything yet. So I think it's 3 possessions leading to 3 turnovers on the last few trips up the floor. So I just think if you know that you've got a couple of good scorers and a player coming off a triple-double, you probably want to get her some touches. So I would expect he's having a go at them at the moment, just encouraging them to get through their sets, try and get some good looks. Because what turnovers will do is leading to a Logan team that only scored 50 points last week. It gives them easy looks in transition. And that's the last thing you want to do is to get them going early. So I just think he's going to be stressing, get through your stuff. Let's get some shots for the people that we want to be shooting in. And Andrea Shaw, I would suggest, will get some looks out of this time out, or at least I would hope so.
A couple of touches at least. You got to feed the big man down low, especially when they're getting blocks for you on the defensive end. I'm with you though. He's got to be talking about valuing the ball a bit. He's just a bit too sloppy there early, and also he's kind of stagnant offensively.
And I don't think Andrea Shaw has to get it to shoot it. She has to get it to get touches, draw the defense, and they can play off that. But I think if you're purely on the perimeter and you're turning the ball over, it's going to be a long night for them on the road.
Yeah, so the jump ball is going to lead to, well, it was tied up, so possession arrow favored Logan. So Logan will inbound along the baseline. Donnelly getting set to inbound, looking inside for Ambrose. It's not there. They find Gaze. Gaze now one-on-one with O'Brien. Puts the ball on the deck, shoots over O'Brien. That's short. Langhorne with the rebound. Good defense there by O'Brien. Langhorne guarded by Ambrose. Ambrose going to pick up the foul as she was on Langhorne's hip there, and that's what Kristen Langhorne does. She's just super aggressive all the time. You just don't know if she's going to shoot, put the ball on the deck, get to the rim. That time she tried to get the head down and get to the basket. A little better ball movement here. Donders going to fire a 3. That's good. It's a 5-2 lead now for the Rip. That's what Donders does. She can make it rain.
She had a little Steph Curry celebration point to the roof as well. So that could be ominous signs for Logan if she gets hot.
And Rip in a man-to-man defense here. Donders has the matchup with Donnelly. Smith takes the pass, kicks it out now to Ambrose. Baseline jump shot is good. Good ball movement and a good bucket there for the Thunder.
John, we said right back in the preseason covering some QBL games that Cassie Smith's just one of those players that doesn't light up the box score, but just does all the little things. She can get in the gaps, create some penetration, and get a jump shot for a teammate like she did just then. Solid defender. And I think when you're coming off a bad loss like they had last week, that's the kind of player that they need to step up if they're going to bounce back with a win.
Yeah, Cassie Smith just does a little bit of everything. She's like the old Swiss Army knife. You just pick and choose what you need, and she'll bring it for you.
She sure is.
Logan loses the ball out of bounds, though, so Rip have it inbound to Shaw. Shaw putting it on the deck. Great look for O'Brien, who finishes with the left hand. Nice baseline out of bounds play there by the Rip.
And it's great to see execution out of a timeout a couple of possessions ago, so Coach Van Dongen obviously will be much more pleased with that.
Reese misses the 3. O'Brien has it. Bit of a trap here from the Thunder. They're going to drop back into man-to-man here. Langhorne spins away from the defense. Donders puts the ball on the deck, throws it up for Shaw. Shaw catches on the block, triple team. Gets it back out to Francis Donders. Little shake. Speed jump shot, no good. Ambrose comes down with it. Now Gaze. Gaze looking to try and get on track here. After that Player of the Week award, she hasn't found her stroke. She's missed her first 2 shots here tonight. Donnelly going to the left. Great look inside for Ambrose. The defense went to trap. It was a bit too late. Donnelly recognized and dumped it down low. Good show there by Reese. Great skip pass over to Langhorne, who puts the ball on the deck, splits the defense, is blocked by Cassie Smith. Great block there by Smith. Logan now with numbers, 4-on-2. Smith inside for Reese. Reese goes right at the defense. Layup, no good. And Shaw comes down with it. Donders on the wing. One of the things I talked to Coach Van Dongen is that when I saw the Rip early this season, I thought they have plenty of talent on the floor. I'd like to see Donders be a bit more aggressive because she's such a talent offensively. She can really, really shoot the ball. Yeah, we saw her there just on the wing. She had a pretty decent look. I'd like to see her fire away.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Subs checking in for the Logan Thunder, Courtney Taylor. And Cassie Smith going to get a breather here early.
I don't think Coach Van Donge is the kind of player that's going to, the kind of coach that's going to be overly critical of a shot like that either. So if you've got the green light, I think be aggressive.
Langhorne misses. Good offensive rebound there by Bede. Hands it back out to Donders. Donders skips it over to O'Brien. O'Brien working on Donnelly. Good look inside for Langhorne, who slipped open. It's a 9-6 lead for the Rip.
And don't the Rip just seem much more composed after that early timeout, just executing so well. And you see Kate Gaze again, John, missing in. I think if you're coming off a 4 and 23 week, she knocks one down there, which she probably needed just for her own confidence. 4 of 23 to start off 0 for 3 or 4s. Not going to do her the greatest deal of good, but good to see her get a bucket early.
Yeah, and all it takes is one, Dan.
All it takes is one. Well, I think a player like that, she's been around long enough to know that you just got to keep shooting. So you're going to make them eventually.
Ambrose gets called for the foul. That's her second personal, so she's going to take a seat on the bench. Bridget O'Brien checks in, and O'Brien, another unsung hero for the Thunder. She just does a bit of everything as well. 7.8 points, 6.5 rebounds, and she usually is tasked with guarding the top scorer for the other team. She did a good job there on Langhorne. I think they're going to get Reese coming over the top with the foul, though, so Langhorne's going to go to the line for 2 shots. And Coach Van Dongen keeping this 5-man, the 5 starters on the court for extended minutes here. And again, not a bad idea. It's a very nice 5-man unit for the Rip to start.
And in a close game, you have to be careful of that, obviously. But I think if he can pinch a minute or two's rest for a couple of his key players at the end and the start of a quarter, I mean, you got Saturday night on the road, you got a chance to get a win against a team coming off their own challenges, at least health-wise and depth-wise. I think why not run your stars 35, 36 minutes? This will be a massive win for a pretty young club, so hopefully, to their credit, they can stay competitive and pull it out. But you know, Andrea Shaw looks like she's labouring a little bit already, so he might need to get her a blow soon.
Good bucket there by Bridget O'Brien. Shaw has it on the block. They're going to get her for the travel. She made her move before she put the ball on the deck. Checking into the game for the Rip, that's Paige Estorff. And Hannah Bede going to get a breather on the bench. Courtney Taylor going to run the show. Going to put Michaela Donnelly off the ball here. Now Donnelly has it. Finds Gaze cutting. She's blocked by O'Brien. Now Donders kicks ahead for O'Brien, who stops and pops at the elbow. It's a bit short. Somehow O'Brien comes up with it, gets to the rack. It's stripped out of bounds by Kate Gaze. So Rip will inbounds. Carly Patrick going to check in for Sky Reese. And they don't, Logan again, just the depth of this squad is just really impressive. You go to the bench, you don't really lose much, if anything. Shaw puts it on the deck. Donders wide open for 3. That's good. That's Donders' second 3-pointer, increasing the lead to 3, 13-10 for Rip.
I'm not sure that Andrea Shaw has scored yet, and it's no secret that I love a big post presence, but I mean, that bucket, got to credit the shooter. That's a great shot to knock down, but it comes off, post touches, draw the defense, kick out to your shooters, and the more of that the Rip can get, I think the better off they'll be.
Shaw going to get called for the foul there. She got a piece of the ball. Nonetheless, though, that is a personal foul. That's only going to be Shaw's first, and it comes with about 2 seconds to go on the shot clock, so that's a bit disappointing.
Yeah, sure is.
Bridget O'Brien going to go to the charity stripe. She shoots about 85.2%. Hits them both, so cuts the lead to 1 with about 3 minutes to go in the first quarter here. O'Brien skips it to Estorff. Excuse me, that's Paige Estorff. Another Donders 3, though, for the Rip. She's 3 of 3 from deep. Lead is 4 now for Sunshine Coast Rip. Good backdoor cut. Bit of the body there by Paige Estorff on Michaela Donnelly. Estorff kind of got caught not looking at the ball there.
I don't blame her. That was an incredibly tough pass that Kate Gaze was able to thread the needle with. But got to keep your eye on the man and the ball, don't you?
Well, that's what happens if you don't. You foul there. That's the second team foul for the Rip. Donnelly going to step into a long one. That's blocked there by Shaw. She can block, and when you're blocking 3-point shots, you know you're a shot blocker. I mean,
absolutely.
Leaves her feet, finds Estorff on the baseline, who's trapped by the double team. Gets it out to Langhorn, who's going to fire a three. That's way off. O'Brien comes up with it and hands off for Donnelly. Now Cassie Smith gets to the middle of the court, finds Taylor. Back to O'Brien for three. It's up, short, and Shaw comes up with it. And that's where Logan really is dangerous in transition.
Absolutely.
O'Brien nearly loses it. She's on the wing. Looking to get the on ball here from Shaw. Shaw sets it. O'Brien picks up the dribble. Pass inside, knocked away and stolen. Donnelly to Smith. Misses the layup. Follow is no good. It's tipped out, and O'Brien comes up with it. So Rip kind of got away with one there. Logan missed a couple bunnies. Now Smith in the corner. Her three is long, no good. Estorff tips it, and Langhorn comes up with it. So Rip playing with a bit of energy here tonight, doing it defensively.
That's a great box out from Estorff. They're going to need their guards to get in and crash the boards if they're going to stay competitive. It's easy when you got Andrea Shaw in there to expect her to get every board, but it's obviously not possible. But they need to work a bit harder to get her some looks. I'm not sure that she's going to appreciate Coach Van Dongen yelling like that. I mean, she's catching it in traffic, but that's her role. Set the pick and roll to the hoop. But I think if you're going to get double-figure rebounds and double-figure blocks, you got to reward her with some buckets from time to time as well.
You sure do. What Coach Van Dongen going to give her a breather though, so she was kind of looking like she needed a bit of a breather. So Zoe Campbell checks in. Rip go to a bit of a zone here. Matuga checks in for the Rip. She's got the ball, putting it on the deck, going right at the defense. Out to Gaze, wide open three attempt is good for Kate Gaze. Don't need to give her that much time. She drains it. It's a 1-point lead now for the Rip. O'Brien working on Cassie Smith. Picks up her dribble. Hits to Zoe Campbell. No, Estorff has it. Campbell again. Now Donders on the right wing. She's 3 of 3 from deep. Goes left. Going to pull up. Campbell wasn't expecting the pass, though. Good hustle, though, by Kristen Langhorn, getting her hands on the ball there. Winds up back with Gaze, and then Langhorn fouls her. It's going to be the third team foul. A couple of sloppy plays there for the Rip.
Yeah, I think this is a dangerous couple of minutes defensively. You can see how small they become when Shaw checks out. So we'll see if Logan can get to the rim and crash the glass a little bit here while they've got the size advantage.
Good seal by Matuga. She can't handle the pass. Scrapped for it. Goes out of bounds. Looks like it went off of Bridget O'Brien, so she loses the ball out of bounds. And Rip have possession. Here comes a bit of 2-2-1 press here from Logan. They had great success against the Rip with this. Brisbane last week. It's about a 2.5 differential on the game and shot clock. Donders goes away from the screen, looks inside, pass stolen by O'Brien. Now Gaze has it with about 7 seconds to go. Gets a screen from Matuga. Out to Cassie Smith. Wing three is up and strong. It knocks around. Langhorn comes up with it. And that's the end of the quarter. 16-15 the lead for the University of Sunshine Coast Rip. If you had to look at it holistically, the Rip led from start to finish. That was definitely their quarter, but they only go into the break up 1.
Yeah, they would obviously like to be up more, considering they had a lead for most of that quarter. And Coach Van Dongen and their point guard are absolutely going at it at the moment. There was a couple of possessions there. She had turnovers and looking over at the bench. So I'm not sure what the issue is, but I'm sure we'll soon find out. But I think removing that little bit of drama, they've got to be pleased. On the road, up 1. They put all the signs down that they're going to be competitive. As we welcome Rory's son into the house for the men's game. But
yeah, we'll have the men's game coming up next.
Yeah, so I think if I'm the Rip overall, I'm pretty pleased with where I'm at. And it's a great platform to now build on going into the second quarter.
It's a 1-point lead for the Rip at the break. We'll take a quick one as well, and we'll come back with the second quarter. You're watching the QBL TV Game of the Week, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media.
In-depth video analysis is no longer just for the pros. Huddle is an easy and affordable tool that brings professional level insight to club and high school teams. Just film and track events live at games and upload them to huddle.com. Accelerate player development with team messaging, automatically generated shot charts and reports, and the ability to add notes and drawings to your video. Coaches can exchange game footage with their entire league, all from one place. Huddle even allows athletes to create highlights to help them get noticed. Sign up for a free trial to see for yourself how Huddle helps teams win.
Welcome back to Cornubia Park Sports Complex as the University of Sunshine Coast Rip women lead the Logan Thunder 16-15 heading into the second quarter. Take a quick look at some first quarter stats here. Kate Gay's top scorer for Logan with 5. Ambrose has 4. Donnelly with 2. And Bridget O'Brien with 4. They shot 6 of 19 from the field, only 1 of 6 from 3. So you got to expect the Thunder to pick up the pace as well. And then you look at the Rip. Frances Donders leads all scorer with 9 points. She's a perfect 3 of 3 from three-point land. Langhorne has 5, O'Brien has 2, and that does it for the Rip. They shot 46% and 60% from 3. So,
and John, it was Frances Donders and Coach Van Dongen who are having the challenges at the end of the quarter. So if that's an issue for them, they're going to be in trouble. So let's hope that she's back on the floor ASAP because she was playing so well.
And this is her first game back after a little while, so she's going to need a bit of a breather. Rip looking for some offense. Ula Matuga is going to take a jump shot that's no good. Zoe Campbell comes up with it for Rip. Now Paige Estorff going to run things for Sunshine Coast Rip. Bede has it driving left. She picks up her dribble and she's fouled. That foul is going to go on Carly Patrick. So it's the first team and personal foul of the second quarter. It'll be interesting to see where the offense comes with Donders on the floor. You got to expect Shaw and O'Brien to get some touches here. Campbell, nice move, dumps it inside for Shaw, who misses the reverse layup. Great move there by Zoe Campbell. Good hustle by the Rip to recover. Estorff fires away. The jump shot is good, so nice creativity there by young Zoe Campbell.
Oh, it was a fantastic move the first time and the second time. And with Logan in a zone, I guess they're trying to take away that three-point shot, maybe, as Shaw picks up her second foul, so she's going to need to be careful now. But isn't it great when a young player like Campbell can come in and be confident and make a great play like that?
Yeah, just Rip fell asleep there. A little miscommunication defensively. They were looking to get into that 2-3 zone, but the top of the zone just wasn't aware of it. And that's just communication. That's all that is there.
Well, the zone doesn't work well when only 3 of the 5 players are running it. So the communication is the key. I was once told, John, every problem in the world comes down to a breakdown in communication. And I think zone defense in basketball is one of those problems.
Just basketball in general. You know,
I agree.
You always hear them when they talk about the great players that one of the first things you hear them say about them is that they are great communicators. So It's not just offensively, but defensively as well.
No doubt about it.
Just going to fix up your mic here so we could hear you a bit better, Dan.
Thank you.
There we go. And here comes the press.
I'm going to have to repeat everything I've been saying now, so thank you for that.
No worries. We'll just run it back for you. No problem, Dan. Let's see what the Rip do here. A bit of this. It's a 1-3-1 zone in the corner. His O'Brien. Her skip pass is stolen there by Donnelly. That's exactly what Logan wanted. Donnelly dumps it in for Gaze. Gaze jump shot is no good. Offensive rebound, Bridget O'Brien, and she's fouled on the putback. So Rip playing right into Logan's wheelhouse here. Turnover, transition bucket. It didn't lead to a basket, but it's going to lead to 2 free throws.
Yeah, these are not great signs for the Rip at the moment. Struggling to get good looks offensively, and like you said, John, Logan, a team that was struggling to score a week ago, are getting easy looks in transition, which is exactly what they want.
And they're going to press now, and it's a great move by Coach Williams because at the moment, Rip turning the pillow over number 1, but their point guard's on the bench.
Yeah.
At the moment for the Rip, they've got 9 turnovers. They go right over the top. Matuga with the block, though. Campbell's got to go up stronger than that. Ooh, Matuga with the big block. Baseline out of bounds here. Shaw gets it on the baseline. She's got to bring it back out. Skip pass over to B. That's jump shot is no good. Tipped out of bounds, though, off the hands of the Rip. Logan will have possession. They're up 1 with 8 minutes to go in the first half. And Coach Van Dongen going to go to the bench. Kristen Langhorne going to get set to check back in, as is Frances Donders. Good defense there. Gaze goes through the contact. Shaw with another rebound. Now Rip off and running. Matuga going to get called for the reach in. That's a silly foul there. Coach Van Dongen checking in Taisha White as well. O'Brien, Zoe Campbell, and Paige Estorff going to get a breather. Saunders off of the Shaw screen, hits Langhorne on the wing. I really want to, you can see that they're looking to get Shaw involved, but they're doing a good job defending her. Langhorne has to pick up the dribble. Donders has it with 8 on the shot clock. Spins right, splits the defense. Pass, Shaw wasn't ready for it. Shaw gets down on the floor. There's 2 Logan Thunder players. They tie her up, and Logan will have possession.
Well, I think to your point, John, Andrea Shaw has shown unbelievable skill on the rebound, blocking shots on defense, and she's shown great touch as a distributor when she gets it in the post. But she hasn't really shown the will to just want to go and post up and get a bucket as yet. And I think for the sake of their team, she needs to find that will pretty quickly. Otherwise, they're going to continue to struggle to get looks against this zone defense from the Thunder.
Gay's going to fire a wing 3 that goes in and out. Donders comes up with the rebound. She's going to slow things down. I think Shaw, though, she stays a bit too upright in the post. She needs to get a bit lower and wider.
I agree, 100%.
It looked like the roll was there. Langhorne couldn't get the pass off. White has it now over to Bede. Bede's on the wing. 4 seconds on the shot clock. Pass nearly stolen. To make matters worse, Kristen Langhorne picks up the foul on Michaela Donnelly. I believe that's going to be Langhorne's second personal. Yep, second. And now the third team foul on the Rip. Gay is guarded by White. That's a tough matchup for Taisha White. Now Smith has it. Donnelly, top of the key, looking inside. Shaw gets a hand on it. It winds up with Gaze. Gaze now goes baseline. Jump shot is good, and she's fouled. Who are they going to give this foul to? Looks like that one's going to go on Frances Donders. Donders got caught in the crossover. 21-18 now the lead for Logan over the Rip. Gaze hits the free throw. Kate Gaze now has got 8 on the night. She's a point behind Frances Donders of the Rip for the top scorer in the game so far.
And Kate Gaze is heating up, John. 4 of 23 last week. I think she's busted out of that drought pretty quickly by the look of this quarter.
Donders picks up her dribble. Now White has it on the wing, puts the ball on the deck, picks up her dribble though, gets it out to Donders. Donders skips it over. They got to get a shot off. That's a turnover. Coach Van Dongen not happy. There's lack of awareness on the court for the Rip, hurting them on that possession.
I'm pretty surprised to see Logan go back to a man at any stage tonight. This zone has crippled the Rip's offense.
Gay's jump shot is short. Good rebound there by Andrea Shaw. She needs someone to come get the ball, though. Gets it over to Donders. Donders trapped. Now Shaw has it. Her pass stolen by Donnelly. Donnelly's got a clear path to the bucket. Left-handed layup is good. And Coach Van Dongen's got to take a timeout here as his team goes down 6, 24-18 with 5:35 to go in the half. We'll take a break as well. You're watching QBL TV, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media.
In-depth video analysis is no longer just for the pros. Huddle is an easy and affordable tool that brings professional level insight to club and high school teams. Just film and track events live at games and upload them to huddle.com. Accelerate player development with team messaging, automatically generated shot charts and reports, and the ability to add notes and drawings to your video. Coaches can exchange game footage with their entire league, all from one place. Sign up for a free trial to see for yourself how Huddle helps teams win.
Back with you here at Cornubia Park Sports Complex in Logan, and it's the Logan Thunder going up by 6, 24-18 with 5:35 to go. Drunk Warner here with Dan George. And Dan, good time out there by Coach Van Dongen. Not only is Kate Gaze heating up, but his team kind of letting the game get away from them. They're not taking care of the pill.
And they're only down 6 in saying that as well. So if we're looking at the court and not looking at the scoreboard, I would guess that the Rip are up. The Rip are in significantly more trouble than they are. They're struggling to get the ball into offense. And once they're down here, struggling to get shots. Meanwhile, Logan's getting the rhythm on the offensive end. So down 6. Hopefully that timeout was a good one just to put a stem to this tide from the Thunder and for the Rip to get back into their offense. But not a great start.
Offensive foul called on Kristen Langhorne. That's going to be her third personal. Stepping in to take that charge, I'm sure it was Michaela Donnelly. And Claire Marie O'Brien going to have to check back in here for the Rip as Langhorne has 3. Gaze goes off the screen, hits Ambrose on the baseline. Jump shot is short. Langhorne comes up with it. Now Donders pushing the ball up court. Donders hits Shaw, leaves her feet. Finds Bede. Bede's going to bring it back out. Hand off for Langhorne. Haven't really got Langhorne going here yet. Donders hasn't had a shot since in the second quarter. Working on Donnelly. Donnelly going to get called for the foul. Don't know what she's disappointed about. That's a blocking foul for sure.
Yeah, it sure was. You can see Donders grabbing her shorts. So I think a couple of weeks off. First game back, like you mentioned, maybe fatigue setting in for her. But like I might be a little bit biased towards our interior players, but Andrea Shaw coming down, catching it at the foul line in transition. She's got to take one dribble and go up strong.
Good look inside for Bede, who rattles it home and cuts the lead to 4. Jess Taylor has it now. Sky Reese going to fire a long 3 that's way off. O'Brien gathers for the Rip. And she's up court here. Neely has it stolen. Shaw recovers for Rip. She beats the clock. Good defense there. Now with 14 seconds to go, O'Brien has it over to Bede. Bede's going to fire a 3 that nearly rattled home. Gaze kicks it ahead now for Donnelly. They've got numbers. Skip pass is knocked out of bounds by Claire Marie O'Brien. Coach Van Dongen going to the bench. Zoe Campbell checks in. And also Cameron Hughes. Good pass inside by Ambrose off a great screen there by Kate Gaze. Gaze just absolutely took out Cameron Hughes there and just held her screen. White has it on the wing, guarded closely by Taylor. Puts the ball on the deck, spins left, and picks it up. Pass inside for Campbell is knocked out of bounds. It went off of Zoe Campbell's foot, though. It's not a bad idea there by White, but she kind of forced it inside.
She did, but that's still a better possession. At least there's signs there of them getting into something which they're trying to get into, as opposed to the last few minutes they've struggled to get any look at all. So that's a turnover, which is not great, obviously, but it's positive signs at least, hopefully for the Rip.
And a great bucket on the other end for Scar Reese. Baseline jump shot gives the Thunder an 8-point lead, 28-20. Donders out to O'Brien. Corner 3 is up and short. Gaze comes up with it, and she's breaking out for Logan. One-man offense here. Taylor shot blocked by O'Brien, but they're going to call a foul on Claire Marie O'Brien. Looked a lot worse than what it was, but Jessica Taylor is going to the bench for 2 shots. Taisha White going to check out for the Rip, and checking back in is Paige Estorff. Taylor's first free throw attempt, no good. See you doing a bit of in-game research there, Thunder. What do you say?
I was just interested in Andrea Shaw's background, just in terms of where she went to school. So George Mason University, transferred to East Carolina. So, I mean, hopefully she can come back and play a role in a close game and for her sake a win tonight. But I mean, isn't it awesome when you have athletes from around the world able to travel through sport? I think it's wonderful and good to see a young lady like her from the States, graduated uni and over here enjoying life in Southeast Queensland.
And vice versa. I mean, you went over to the States for uni. I'm sure that was valuable, not only basketball experience, but a life experience as well.
It was awesome. Well, I think the basketball experience is what you go for, but all the life stuff that you get out of it is, I think, down the line where you get the most reward. And I'm sure that someone like Andrea Shaw or anyone else that comes out here will, in the future, look back on their time playing basketball abroad with the same type of feeling.
And we see more and more American imports coming over every season. We'll see a few in the next game as well, as the Rip have a couple American in the men's game. One of them former NBL player Lance Hurdle. Zoe Campbell misses a jump shot, a layup. O'Brien misses another one, and Reese comes down with it for Logan. Under 3 to go now. It's an 8-point lead for Thunder over Rip.
I think if the Rip, given their struggles this quarter, if they can go into this break down 8 or 9 points, they're going to feel pretty good about themselves still. But if this next couple of minutes ekes out and they go down 12-13, mentally that's a long way back in the second half. So this is a big couple of minutes coming up for both sides to try and get momentum heading into the halftime break.
Going to give that foul to Sky Reese there. That's the 4th team foul. Rip are in the penalty already. 2:34 to go in the first half. An 8-point lead for Logan. I think Sunshine Coast will be fairly happy with the defense they're playing. They're doing a good job defensively. You know, Logan, even though they struggled to score last week, they went into that game averaging 80 points a game as Donders gets a nice bucket to go down. She still hasn't missed yet.
Well, sorry, go ahead, John.
I said Rip, Logan can put the points on the board.
Well, I guess what I was about to say was just agreeing with that. If the Rip had have said we're going to hold Logan to 70 or 75 points, they're going to give themselves a pretty good chance to win, and they're on target to do that. So defensively, I don't think they've got too many problems, and I think it's even more to the point that a lot of Logan's offense has come from transition, which is a result of the Rips' bad offense as opposed to any defensive issues. So if they can figure out how to get into their sets and how to run some offense, I think they're going to be a real shot to pull out a road win tonight.
Yeah, Logan, though, just absolutely crushing Rip on the boards. There's 24 rebounds for Logan to 13 for the Rip. And second chance opportunities at the moment is the best weapon for Logan, and transition buckets. Lead now 30-22 as Taylor hits another free throw. Courtney Taylor checks in for Jessica Taylor. And here comes that 2-2-1 press. Let's see what the Rip do against the press. They go right over the top again. Jess Elliott has it now for Rip. Donders has it on the wing. Working the ball around the perimeter. It's a 5-out offense at the moment here for Rip. Donders got 7 seconds on the shot clock. Good pass inside. Campbell. Jump shot is short there by Cameron Hughes. Here's Logan in transition. Gaze driving baseline. Kicks it over to Donnelly. Donnelly spins away from the defense. Blocked by Campbell, but there's a foul before that. That's going to go on Claire Marie O'Brien. That's O'Brien's third personal as well. Oh, second, sorry. That was a nice spin move there by Donnelly, spinning away from the defense.
Yeah, sure was. Well, Michaela's one of those experienced players that does a little bit of everything as well. Can score the ball when needed, solid defender. So Logan's got a few of those, which is positive signs for them. You'd expect them to be one of the contenders this year with their roster, and we're seeing glimpses of it tonight.
O'Brien goes through a triple team there. She's quite determined on that possession there. Elliott now, let's see, there's no one inside here. O'Brien gonna fire a three, that's no good. Fight for the rebounds, knocked out of bounds off of Zoe Campbell. So Thunder have possession up 10 with 1 minute and 11 seconds to go in the half. When you clear out though and you have no one inside, you want to attack the glass, not settle for a three.
I agree. Well, if I'm running a zone, I probably want you to go 5 out and jack a three.
Good steal there.
Donders will get a cheap bucket here, hopefully, and she can convert. So there's nothing wrong with starting 5 out, but if I'm coaching the Rip, I'm going to say that's what we're going to do. Let's go 2 or 3 ball reversals, make the defense move, and then let's attack. I think you can get the ball inside and penetrated one of 3 ways. Obviously a dribble penetration, a pass penetration, or on the offensive glass. So if there's 5 out, there's no offensive boards happening. So they've got to find ways to reverse the ball and then attack it with cutters and a pass, or dribble penetration. Otherwise, it's going to be a long night against what's not a great zone.
Oh, it's given the Rip fits, though, at the moment. Again, because they have that 5 out. Here we go. There's a cut. They don't do anything off of it. Cameron Hughes can't handle the pass. Patrick comes up with it. 3-on-1. She gives it up for Donnelly to lay it up and in. Very unselfish play there by Carly Patrick. Lead is now 12, 36-24 with 3 seconds to go. O'Brien has to recognize it. She's going to throw a wild one up. That's way off and no good. 36-24, the lead at the half for the Logan Thunder. Coach Van Dongen having a quick chat with the referees. I think he wanted a timeout there off the miss.
I think he was complaining that the Logan player stepped out of bounds on that break. I'm not sure she did. So I think Coach Van Dongen should grab his whiteboard and go and coach.
Well, at the half, it is a 36-24 lead. Rip still in this game. It's far from over, but they kind of just fell apart in that latter half of the second quarter. I think some of the adjustments they got to make. They got to try and get some more on-ball screens. I think try and get Donders getting to the basket, O'Brien getting to the basket. And again, still looking to force that pass inside and getting Shaw some of those touches early, because she did some nice passing off of the double, sometimes even triple team.
Well, I'm not sure how effective she's been scoring the ball, like we said earlier. I mean, she has got 2,000, 0 points at the half. So she's got to want to put the ball in the hole as well. But like you said, John, it's not just the scoring that she provides. It's once you get the ball into the middle and you've got a girl of that size, she's going to draw defenders, and that opens it up for everyone else. So without that, and they go 5 out, it's so much easier to guard. And like we've said, that leads to bad shots late in the shot clock, which leads to Logan transition buckets, which makes it hard to get back and defend. So I think defense wins titles.
Coach Van Dongen having a chat with us. He wanted that call when they stepped out of bounds off the easy bucket to finish things off there for the half on Logan. I think, yeah, we probably didn't get the full sideline there. It was certainly close. From our angle, it was hard to tell. But I just think Rip there just need to kind of get things back going again. They need to play Shaw. I personally think she sat a little bit too long, even though she had the 2 fouls.
Well, that might have been a missed call potentially, but that's going to happen. But that one missed call is not the reason that they're down and can't get into an offense. So hopefully they can go back and address that. But I agree. And I know that I particularly am incredibly biased towards interior players, just given that we should be sticking together, us 4 and 5s.
Yeah.
But in saying that, Andrea Shaw doesn't have to be your leading scorer, but she does have to get a touch on offense every time, simply because it opens up 3-point shots, opens up ball reversals, opens everything up, and it makes the defense suck into the paint. And as we saw when she went out, without that happening, they're going 5 out. It's so much easier to guard a Rip team that's struggling to put points on the board. Defensively, 36 points, they'd be happy with that. 24.5 is just not enough.
Yeah. Well, it is halftime, so we'll take our break at halftime. We'll come back with a few minutes before the start of the third quarter to go over some stats from the first half. It is that 36-24 lead for the Logan Thunder at the half over the University of Sunshine Coast Rip here on QBL TV, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media.
In-depth video analysis is no longer just for the pros. Huddle is an easy and affordable tool that brings professional level insight to club and high school teams. Just film and track events live at games and upload them to huddle.com. Accelerate player development with team messaging, automatically generated shot charts and reports, and the ability to add notes and drawings to your video. Coaches can exchange game footage with their entire league, all from one place. Huddle even allows athletes to create highlights to help them get noticed. Sign up for a free trial to see for yourself how Huddle helps teams win.
Hi, my name is Jade and I play basketball for Queensland.
Well, some of the great things about the Aussie Hoops program would be the younger kids, developing their skills at lower ages.
The thing I love about playing basketball would be working as a team. I also love the energy and the atmosphere basketball has.
Favourite training session of the week would be my club training. It's more involved than just individual sessions.
a kid approached me about playing basketball for the first time, I would definitely tell them about how much fun it is. Basketball is a game for everyone, and it's also an all year round sport.
It doesn't matter what shape or size you are, give basketball a go.
Welcome back to Cornubia Park Sports Complex. As the Logan Thunder lead the University of Sunshine Coast Rip 36-24 at the half. Just about to get back into the action here. I'm trying to pull up the stats. I accidentally shut off the app on my phone, so let's pull it up and have a quick look at the stats. Top scorers of the game for the Thunder, and that is Kate Gaze. She's got 8, and Michaela Donnelly also has 8. But the top scorer in the game is Frances Donders of the University of Sunshine Coast Rip. She's got 13. If we take a look at the stats for Logan in the half, they shot 35% from the field, only 1 of 9 from 3, but they did get to the free throw line 13 times, and they had 16 rebounds to the Rips. Rip is actually out-rebounding Logan, so I got my numbers mixed up in the first half. They're out-rebounding Logan 24-16, but Sunshine Coast has way too many turnovers. They turned the ball over 16 times in that first half, and that's got to change if they want to come back to win this one, Dan.
Well, Frances Donders is leading the game in scoring, but Frances Donders needs some help. Well, she's got 13, and then there's a couple of players on 2, 1 on 5, and at least Andrea Shaw looking to be aggressive early, which is a good sign, whereas for Logan, I mean, Kate Shaw's got 8, but just a really balanced attack, so hopefully someone else can step up for the Rip and take some of the heat off Frances in this half.
Yeah, and you like the look inside to Shaw off the first play coming out of the halftime break. So even though it didn't go down, they're Rip looking to get her involved early. And then there is a foul on the play as Michaela Donnelly got her feet in the paint. Foul's going to go on Frances Donders. That's going to be Donders' second personal foul and the first team foul for the Rip in the second half.
I think the first possession out of the halftime break was a look inside, so it's obviously by design. So hopefully that does a couple of things. Firstly, changes Andrea Shaw mentality to become more aggressive, hopefully, and realize she has to be a focal point for them. But hopefully it also, from Rip's point of view, makes Logan more aware of playing inside D and opens the floor up for all the shooters like Frances Donders, who's going to have to keep carrying the load in this half.
Good break here from the Rip. Shaw puts it on the deck out to Donders. Donders, good defense there by Donnelly. Bede has it now on the wing. 8 seconds now on the shot clock, so O'Brien puts it on the deck, picks up her dribble, looks inside for Langhorn. Left-handed layup is good by Kristen Langhorn. Much better action so far in the first 2 Rip possessions. But they get caught sleeping defensively as Sky Reese gets an easy bucket underneath the hoop. So nice transition bucket there by Logan. Good response. Soft pass there by Langhorn, stolen by Gaze. Gaze goes to the rim and lays it in. It's now a 16-point lead here for Logan, 42-26. It's just a soft pass, but you got to cut hard too. No matter how far away you are, you got to come to the ball and catch it aggressively.
You sure do.
Bede's 3 is off. Now Logan looking to put the stamp on this game here. Donnelly on the wing. Good ball movement here into an on ball for Cassie Smith. Smith going to pick up her dribble. Skip pass is stolen though by Langhorn. Langhorn on the right wing hits O'Brien. O'Brien trying to step through, flips a wild one up. She gets it to fall, cutting the lead now to 14. We've seen O'Brien time and time again go to that kind of step through, almost like Euro step type step through move.
Well, I think anytime someone goes to the effort of having matching athletic tape and headband, I think you will like to see them get some good easy buckets. Yeah. And that was far from it. She obviously had to put some English on the ball to get that to go down, and a bucket that Rip desperately needed.
Corner 3 by Bede is good, so 5 straight here for the Rip, cutting the lead to 11. Rip kind of hanging in there. I thought Logan was about to put the foot down, but Sunshine Coast has answered, cutting the lead to 11. Then a turnover on the other end by Cassie Smith, trying to lead. Ambrose there to the bucket. A lot more paint touches, whether it's an entry pass though, or getting your feet in the paint from the Rip.
Sure is. And the guards can get post touches too. It doesn't have to be the big person every time, or the big man, I was going to say. It can be a guard penetrating to the hoop too. But points in the paint. I mean, if you look at American basketball, Tony Parker is one of the leaders of points in the paint in NBA every year, and he's a point guard, so it doesn't have to be the center every time, but they've got to find some ways to manufacture some easier looks.
Yeah, and just see on the other end another turnover, and Logan doing a good job capitalizing on the rip turnovers as Donders puts her foot down, gets into the paint. Shaw, good fight inside by Shaw. Layup attempt, though, is a bit wild. It's knocked out of bounds there by Andrea Shaw, so good physical play there from the rip. They just can't capitalize on the second chance.
Andrea Shaw is a raw offensive player. Like, she obviously would love to get in the gym and work on her touch, but her athleticism for a player of her size is a fantastic quality. I mean, just fighting for that rebound, it's rare to see, especially in women's basketball, a player of that size with that sort of footwork. So hopefully part of her time here with the rip can be that development, working on her touch, because I think every other aspect of her game's there as Kate Gaze continues to put points on the board for Logan at the other end.
Yeah, Gaze now up to 12. She's a point behind Donders for the game's leading scorer. O'Brien picks up her dribble. She's in a bit of trouble. Ball's tied up. Possession arrow favors Logan. Every time there's a jump ball, it seems to favor Logan at the moment. But I think O'Brien there kind of getting caught picking up the dribble when she should have kept the dribble. And you don't want to force anything. You just bring it out.
Well, it's one of the things you teach young players in junior basketball is don't kill your dribble.
Ambrose finishes through the contact, so she'll have an opportunity for a three-point play as Frances Donders picks up her third personal. But you have to keep the dribble alive, as you're saying, Dan.
Well, I think it's a lost art, especially in Australian basketball. I'd love to see any player, but guards in particular, attack the paint or attack their man, keep the dribble alive, and it's not there, just retreat dribble back out and run something else. I think oftentimes we can take 2 or 3 hard dribbles, we don't get the move we wanted, we pick it up, we panic, and at least a turnovers and the ball going the other way.
Yeah, no, we went to watch the Spartans game last weekend, and you see Will McDowell-White. He's pretty good at that, where he'll bring he does have that where he gets his feet in the paint, and if it's not there, he'll back it out and run something else.
Yeah.
I think that's a great sign of a great point guard.
Well, I think that's why he's so far above other players of his age. And even, we talk about of his age, but he goes into the C-ball against grown men and dominates still because he's got the fundamentals and the basketball smarts to do exactly that. Know when to attack, know when to back it out, know how to run an offense. It sounds simple, but it's not as easy as it sounds.
As Langhorn flips one up and gets the bucket and the foul. Rip are down by 20, and now they're down by 18 off the basket. But Logan right now kind of putting their stamp on this game. Rip are kind of slowly, they're still kind of hanging in there. They just can't get a nice solid 5 or 6 minutes of consistent play on both ends going.
And that was a tough bucket. Give her credit for making that play. Fantastic work off the dribble in isolation ball, really, as she converts a three-point offense. But that's the second or third hard, tough, spinning, out of control shot that they've made, because they're working so hard for their looks, and that's a credit to Logan's D, but it also just shows that there are no easy buckets for the Rip, whereas Logan are coming down, getting through their stuff. We saw another possession just there, coming out of a set, getting exactly what they want, and they go to the line for 2 shots now as well. It's just hard basketball, just trying to get every offense that they can possibly can for the Rip, somehow getting shots, whereas Logan are coming down just systematically running what they want to run. It's really 2 contrasting styles at the moment, at least from where I'm sitting.
Yeah, and it's an experience thing also. You look at Logan, every player that they send out onto the court has, at a minimum QBL experience. They bring in people who played at the highest level too. You got Donnelly, you got Smith, Reese, where Rip are a bit younger and they're inexperienced, especially here in Australia.
Oh, absolutely. And that comment wasn't a critique at all. Yeah. It's just an observation. And you're right, John. They've got, from Logan's point of view, as we said earlier, some fantastic players who've been there and done that at all levels of women's basketball, at least in this country, whereas the Rip are such a young organisation, let alone young players. And I mean, you'll find that these girls in another year or 2 are coming down doing exactly what Logan's doing to them because of that experience they're getting on a night like this. Yeah. So their struggles is not the coach's fault, it's not the players' fault, it's just the fact that they're a young, inexperienced group, and the only way to overcome that is to go through nights like this and get experience. So.
Yeah, and to Coach Van Dongen's credit and to his team's credit, they do show consistent week-to-week improvements. I mean, if we would have seen the Rip a month ago playing this Logan Thunder team, there's no chance. I don't think they would have even been in the game at the half.
Yeah.
And they're still hanging in. They're down 19
Absolutely.
at the moment, but they're right in this game. They just need to get a few more stops here.
And every single player for the Rip is playing as hard as they possibly can. I think a lot of the times when coaches lose a locker room, or if teams are going through a long season and they're losing games, you can just tell the body language is never great. And it doesn't look like people really want to go as hard as they could, whereas tonight these girls are playing as hard as they can, which shows that they're buying into the system. They're all trying to get better as a club and as players, and that's nothing but positive for the future, personally for them, but also for this organization playing in the QBL.
And you see when you bring a team together like the Rip, this is their first, it's not just their first year, it's their first year in existence. So quite often when you have a club like Logan who's been around for a long time, you have some consistency in the ranks. Players have played together before, even sometimes coming up through the junior ranks together.
Absolutely.
And that translates into the game. Whereas the Rip, it's a group that has just come together for the first time this year. And they do have plenty of talent. You've got a Kristen Langhorn who's a veteran. You've got a Frances Donders as an import coming in playing for the first time. And you have some younger players like Claire Marie O'Brien, who just come back from the Division I ranks over in the U.S. You've got a Paige Estorff and a Hannah Bede. And one thing that I think we kind of take advantage, or take for granted, I should say, when you do bring in imports, you never really know what you get until they're here. You don't know what dynamic and how they're going to fit into that culture that you're trying to bring. So, yes, everyone brings in an import, but you really don't know what you're going to get unless A, you've worked with them before, or B, you know them from a previous experience, or you have a group that has played with them.
Absolutely, and you can watch tape and you can pretty much know what you're going to get from an on-court point of view by watching a lot of film. But John, your point about not knowing how they're going to fit culturally, not knowing the kind of person they are, how they're going to fit in the community, which is so important, especially in junior ranks, where the organization is really held up by a really strong foundation of juniors. All of those intangibles is so important to the translation to on-court success, but also just for the success of the program. And you're right, until they're here, you don't know. And I think when we look to the men's game later on, one of the comments that Coach Rucker would make is that he's got 3 guys that played for him in Glasgow last year that have come to Logan, and they come after having had a year with him last year, so they know exactly what he wants, they know exactly the culture he sets, and they can come in and they can buy in straight away for their team, but also for this whole facility and the kids who look up to them.
Sure, putting the ball on the deck and try and get to the rim, and I think that consistency, it doesn't happen quite often, but I think Coach Rucker, it's obviously played to his advantage. Plus, he brought in 3 guys, and they're not just any 3 guys either.
Oh, 3 pretty decent guys.
They're 3 all QBL level players that he brought with him too, so that doesn't hurt either.
Yeah, we'll get into the men's commentary soon, obviously, but I'm really excited to watch their group tonight in person at this stage of the season, as Andrea Shaw misses both foul shots, and I'm a fan of hers for a number of reasons, but just struggling to score the ball tonight. And
the Rip they can't find their shot here in the third quarter. It's gotten away from them. They're down 59-34, and just a couple of sloppy passes there leading to some turnovers.
And I think it's almost worth a timeout at this stage. Only a couple of minutes left in the quarter, but I'm calling a timeout right now if I'm Coach Van Dongen, partly because I don't want this to turn into a 30-point loss at three-quarter time, or 30-point deficit rather. Plus, I just want to get these young girls in, give them some encouragement, let them know they're actually doing all right. And they're turning the ball over, but there's a lot of good stuff happening as well. What you don't want is for this young group to get down by 30 and it becomes another very tough loss to take, having had so many good signs up until this point.
Yeah, and Coach Williams has gone to his bench here. Checking in was Hazel Fui. Also checked in is Jade Kirsome. So you got some of the young talent coming through the Logan ranks. And when you talk about young talent, I mean, especially on the women's side of things, the Logan Thunder, it's like a production line down here in Logan. They just continually churning out talented young women playing basketball. One of the Logan Thunder locals who is on the Logan Thunder QBL roster is Mila Goodchild. She couldn't be here, though, because she was busy with the Under-17 Sapphires, knocking off the United States for the first time ever in the Under-17 World Championships.
What an amazing result for those girls overseas right now, but on a broader scale, just for Australian basketball in general. I mean, it wasn't long ago that the Opals and the USA were clear cuts, first and second ranked in the world, and you could almost flip a coin who would win gold medal out of those two. And the women may have come off slightly, but I think the Rio Olympics will be another great showing for them. And then you look at the Sapphires beating the USA in that tournament. What an incredible result. Just fantastic for those girls, but just for women's sports in general in this country.
And, you know, the standard of the women's game here has been a strong suit for a few years now, and it's continually getting better here. As we see another turnover there, that was Madeline Campbell trying to get Zoe Campbell involved. Shaw on the other end with the block. Then a foul there going to go on. Looks like that one's going to go on Hazel Fui. So 62-34 the lead. A minute 25 to go here in the third quarter. But that was a great win for the Sapphires, and it wasn't, you know, it was a double-digit win also. So Australia has an opportunity to win a gold medal for the first time in a long time.
And I think one of the risks after a win like that is, I mean, that could have been their grand final. You beat the USA. I mean, those girls will be on an incredible high after a performance like that. Hopefully they've got, and I'm sure they do, the ability to just compose themselves and put in the exact same performance and reward themselves with the gold, which they obviously deserve.
Yeah, let's hope they do. Best of luck to the Sapphires. With 8 seconds to go on the shot clock, O'Brien puts the ball on the deck, throws one up, blocked there by Shaw. Fui comes up with it out to Taylor. Three is short. No, it's not. It rolls in. Courtney Taylor couldn't believe it either. 65-34 the lead now for Logan. Shaw leaves her feet. That's a big no-no. Paige Estorff picks up her dribble, hits Shaw, who's triple teamed. She goes through the triple team, gets it to fall and the foul. So Andrea Shaw going to go to the line for a three-point play opportunity. She hasn't been too successful tonight from the free throw line. She's only been there twice, but on the season she shoots just about 59% from the field, from the free throw line. So not one of the strong suits in her game.
No. Well, she's a defensive player. I mean, even her field goal percentage on the season is around 25% or so. So she is obviously not a girl who's blessed at this moment with beautiful touch around the rim. But she's obviously a young developing player, and that will come. And that comes back as well to the question, or not the question rather, but the comment about imports and who you bring out. I mean, she is obviously a defensive specialist, and she is the perfect player to quarterback a defense, quarterback the rebound, anchor that end of the floor, and play alongside a superstar scorer. That would suit her perfectly. Well, I think here she's come to Australia and she's relied to quarterback the defense, but she's got to go and score 15 a game for them to be competitive. And at this point, that's just not her game.
Yeah, and we see O'Brien missed a wild shot there to end the quarter. It is the end of the third quarter. It's a 67-36 lead for the Logan Thunder. They outscore the University of Sunshine Coast Rip 29-12 in that third. So we'll take a break and come back with the final fourth quarter action here from Cornubia Park Sports Complex on QBL TV, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media.
In-depth video analysis is no longer just for the pros. Huddle is an easy and affordable tool that brings professional level insight to club and high school teams. Just film and track events live at games and upload them to huddle.com. Accelerate player development with team messaging, automatically generated shot charts and reports, and the ability to add notes and drawings to your video. Huddle even allows athletes to create highlights to help them get noticed. Sign up for a free trial to see for yourself how Huddle helps teams win.
Welcome back to Cornubia Park Sports Complex. I'll get that out one of these days. 67-36 the lead for the Thunder heading into the fourth quarter. It was a 31-12 third quarter run there by Logan that's really put this game out of reach for the Sunshine Coast Rip. I think in this fourth quarter here, Yeah, I'd like to see Coach Van Dongen get Frances Donders back into the game. She's been one of their better players. She's coming back for the first time in a few weeks, yet we see her still sitting on the bench. Maybe he just doesn't want to risk hurting her, but it's a 31-point lead here, and some of the youngsters for the Rip are going to get some minutes here. You see Cameron Hughes, got Maddie Campbell as well, O'Brien, Shaw, and Estorff in there. O'Brien flips one up and in for the Rip, cutting the lead now to 29.
Well, Frances Donders, I don't think, has scored this half after looking really impressive in the first half, and that's coincided with a pretty poor offensive showing from Logan. But there's two ways, from the Rip. Logan have been great. But there's two ways that this half can go, I think, if you're the Sunshine Coast. That is, you can get blown out completely, and it can become a fairly demoralizing drive back home. Or they can say, we've lost the game, as Cassie Smith almost converts on a bucket with a foul shot to come. So they can drive home demoralized, or they can say we've taken a loss, but at least we've used this last quarter to get young players minutes. We've run our sets, we've executed well, and there's a lot of positive stuff to build on.
Yeah, let's win the quarter.
Well, let's see, exactly. So let's see which way this quarter goes, because I don't think there's anything in between. It'll be one or the other, and we'll be able to tell pretty quickly which it's going to be.
Yeah, well, at the moment, Logan has scored 4 straight points, all 4 going to Cassie Smith. Those 2 free throws give the lead back up to 33, 71-38. Long pass there by O'Brien, stolen by Fui. Now Kirasome, foul line jump shot, rolls out and back in for Kirasome. Jade Kirasome gets on the score sheet. And I like what Logan's doing here. They're playing their bench, but let's press. Let them run. You know, just because you're up big doesn't mean you don't want to run your stuff either. You know, these are valuable minutes for a bench unit and for some of the Thunder youngsters.
Well, and there's another great bucket, which should be an N1, I think. Well, we spoke about the Sunshine Coast Rip, which way this quarter's going to go for them. But it's the same thing for Logan, and it could very easily happen that we're a few weeks down the line, and hopefully not, but there's an injury to a senior Logan player, or they get into foul trouble in a final, and you need one of these young girls to come in and play a role. So unless they have experiences like tonight, that's going to be hard to do.
Yep.
So hopefully this gives them the chance to come in and get some experience and get some confidence in a game situation as well.
So Estorff missed the first. Coach Van Dongen wanted the N1. I don't understand why, if it was a shooting foul, they didn't count the bucket.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm not really too sure either, to be completely honest with you. In a situation like this as well, when it's 73-38, give them the points. She did a good effort. Just give it to her.
Regan Baker with our expert refereeing commentary. Now we have a true insight on how Regan referees. So if you ever see him out on the QBL and he gives you a bucket, give him a pat on the back. But again, you know, if you're sending them to the line to shoot 2 free throws, then they were fouled when they were shooting. It went in, thus count the basket. But
the only thing I can think of that may have come into play as well is if she got fouled, then travelled and the points went in, you have to cancel it because the travel obviously negates the fact that the points went in. I wasn't watching close enough to see whether that was the case, but you know, other than that, count it 1 shot. It's the only way it makes sense.
I'm with you, Regan. Even if it was a travel, if she's taken 3 or 4 steps, which she's fading away from the bucket, shooting it from outside the key, and it looks acrobatic and it's stylish, ignore the travel. Yeah. Just count it. Give her the points.
Yeah, especially with a team like that as well. I mean, you know, they haven't scored yet this quarter. They've been struggling a little bit. Just give them the points. Give Rip, you know, a bit of a pat on the back. Paige Estorff, great play. Count the points. Why not?
Estorff came off there limping a bit. Looks like she's going to get a little treatment on her ankle as play starts to get a little sloppy here. Cameron Hughes and Andrea Shaw tying up Carly Patrick. It's a jump ball. And again, the possession arrow favors Logan Thunder. Checking in for the Rip going to be Zoe Campbell, and Andrea Shaw going to get a breather. Not sure if we'll see Shaw again tonight.
I hope we do. For a player shooting 25% from the field, a young player out here to develop as a player as well as obviously to contribute right now for them. It's not going to do her or the club any good to have her watching the last 8 minutes tonight.
Sky Reese with the bucket. It's now 75-38 the lead here for Logan.
I think one of the main decisions that a club has to make when they're a brand new franchise like the Rip are is what kind of uniforms and what kind of brand we're going to have. What's our opinion on these Rip City uniforms with the green and pink?
I think I love them. I really do. O'Brien's 3 is no good. I think just it's very kind of coasty, you know. I think it represents the coast pretty well. And Rip City, I mean, we all know where that came from. That's the Portland Trailblazers. But, gee, you're going to call yourself the Rip. Why not go Rip City? Because O'Brien can't handle it, lose it out of bounds.
Well, I can't imagine what the very first meeting was like when they decided to start an organization and sat down and realized how much work there was to do to get to this point where they're playing in a QBL. And uniform design's a part of it, obviously, but whoever was a part of that meeting and committee, I think deserves a whole lot of credit. One, to get the franchise up and running. Two, to brand it as well as they branded it, as we look at their uniforms on the floor. And three, to go and recruit American players and get a team together.
It's not, you know, it's not an easy thing. You know, one of the, I think people that haven't been around the game or haven't, you know, from an outsider's perspective, you think it's quite easy to get a group of players together, but at the moment, the University of Sunshine Coast doesn't have that junior base, or much of a junior base, where they can potentially, you know, bleed some guys in, and they are starting to do that at a slow, low level. So this is it. You know, this team has been put together by Coach Van Dongen, and we'll see the men's team put together by Coach Rousey from scratch. I mean, you're not, you know, you definitely, your first calls are two people who are locals up at the Sunshine Coast area, but to start a whole entire organization from scratch, it's not easy, and that's not even talking about the basketball itself, like you said.
Absolutely.
Gay's definitely back on track tonight. She hits another one. She's up to 15 points. The lead is 79-38. And I think, you know, again, we touched on it earlier in the quarter or the third quarter, but all of these experiences are good experiences. No one likes to lose. You don't like to get blown out, but it's a notch on the belt where you can say, I've been there and I've done that. I'm starting something that's brand new. So it's something to be proud of also, that you're a part of that foundation team that has set the tone for the future.
Well, without question. And looking at this team, I know we have a couple of veteran players, but there's a lot of young Sunshine Coast Rip players as well. And I would assume that someone like Belle Dawes, who's out on the floor now and playing incredibly hard defense, she's probably a local, I would assume. So you would expect her to be part of this organization for 3, 4, 5, 10 years to come. And someone like that is going to look back on nights like this when they are winning games in the future and just realize what a great experience it was and how grateful that she would be to have had lessons like what she's getting this evening.
Hey, you see Dawes with the ball here. You've got Zoe Campbell, Cameron Hughes, Jess Elliott, Maddie Campbell. I mean, this is a young lineup here, and you know they're playing under pressure. And look at the players that are on here for Logan. You've got Sky Reese, who's played at the highest level. You've got Kate Gaze, who's just come off a championship-winning WNBL season. You've got Sarah Ambrose. You've got the Taylor, you know, Courtney Taylor. Excuse me, that's Jess Taylor there. But you know, these are valuable minutes for a young team. You could look back and say, I guarded a player who just came back and won a WNBL championship. And has that experience, and not many people can say that ever.
Absolutely. I agree. I agree as well, though, that I'm glad Frances Donders is back on the floor. I'd love to see Andrea Shaw back on the floor as well.
Langhorne's going to check in.
Langhorne's coming in. That's a positive sign. I would just love, as we knocked down a 3, which was great to see.
Man,
I would just love to see this come back to at least a 30-point game, because it doesn't look pretty on the scoreboard, but the Rip for 60% of this game were a really competitive, tough matchup for this Logan team, in my opinion.
Very, very much so. I think Logan may have looked at the records and the standings and thought they were going to come in here and walk over the Rip. The Rip gave him a real shot in the mouth, especially in that first quarter. As Cameron Hughes fires a jump shot, that's good. It's a great catch and shoot from the youngster there.
Absolutely.
But yeah, Logan went into that halftime break and they just put the foot down and got the W here. They've been clinical in this whole second half here, doing it defensively and also getting the job done offensively. Gaze fires off a wild one, gets bailed out though by the foul. That one's going to go on Zoe Campbell. So Gaze is going to go to the free throw line for 2 shots. Kristen Langhorne going to check in for Zoe Campbell. Campbell's been a nice player too. I think to me she plays a little bit too timid, but I think that's an age thing also. she's done some nice things. She had that great move in the first half. She's gotten some really strong rebounds, but she just needs to play a little bit more confidently. Coach Van Dongen wouldn't put her on the court if he didn't think she could do the job.
Well, Frances Donders was just talking to her after that possession. Donders pushes Kate Gaze towards the on-ball. Campbell just has a weak show, which leads to a foul on the shooter. So you can see Frances telling her, you've got to come out and show harder and cut that off. But like you said, she's shown a lot of great promise. She's got a nice touch. I thought she came in the first half and did some really great things as well. And little things like how to shot an on-ball, you can do it in practice all night long. But until you go up against a player of Kate Gaze's stature, and well done to Beldoors getting a bucket. That's wonderful to see. Until you go up against a player of Kate Gaze's stature and you can see that, actually, I really do have to show out or I'm going to get hurt. You don't really realise. So I think, like we've been saying for the last few minutes, these are all great lessons for young players tonight.
And I love the leadership you see from a Frances Donders and a Kristen Langhorn. They really bring in the young players, and they're talking to them after every possession, every opportunity they get to show them those little, like you say, it comes with experience. It comes with showing, I may be able to get away with a weak show when I play at another level, but I'm not getting away with it here at the QBL.
And I'm sure that there's some frustration from the older players playing with younger athletes, but the communication and the body language is far from frustration. I think they're taking a real emphasis on the fact that they're the leaders and they're here to nurture this young club. And you can see they're pretty proud of the position that they're in to be guiding a brand new first-year franchise as well.
And, quality of character there shows for sure. 89-46 the lead here for Logan Thunder. We got about 3:20 to go. Taylor's going to fire a wing three that looked good. It was too strong. Patrick came up with the rebound, dumped inside for Ula Matuga, who lays it in. Again, Ula Matuga is another one who was part of the under-18 state championship winning team for the Logan Thunder. She was in the camp for the Sapphires. She was one of the alternates. I mean, she also is a phenomenal player.
Well, I didn't know that. If that was the position she was in, it just showed that if she was literally born anywhere in the world other than the USA or Australia, she'd be at a world championship right now. If she's at that level to be an alternate for the Sapphires, who are obviously doing great things. So the fact she's in Logan this evening, she might be disappointed, but and obviously she'd rather be overseas. But if she's in that group, potentially world championship group, then she's obviously a pretty talented athlete and lots of good things to come for her in the future as well.
Yeah, she's we got to call the under-18 state championship games, and she was a really impressive player for the Logan Thunder. She was a key to that championship winning team. We saw Jade Kirisame, who was in earlier for the Thunder. She was part of that squad, as well as Mila Goodchild, who is over at the World Championship. So Logan Thunder just pumping out the talent at the junior levels, especially in the women's programs.
Well, whoever's running the junior program here at Logan, especially for the women's, they deserve a lot of recognition too. And I'm sure that there's multiple hours that get put into sessions and programs and coordinating all of that. And they would get no recognition, or if they do get recognition, it's not enough, because the results that they're producing speak for themselves.
And the coach of that under-18 Logan Thunder women's team is Luke Can, who plays for the men's QBL side. He's actually over in the States at the moment with the emerging Queensland State team. So Luke does a great job on the court, and he's heavily involved in the juniors as well, and recognized for those accomplishments with the trip over with the emerging team.
I think we talk about junior talent developing. We've spoken about girls on both sides tonight, both from Logan and obviously the RIP, being young players and getting experience. But stories like that, it's wonderful to hear about young emerging coaching as well, because unless that continues, kids like mine who are 7 and 5 aren't going to have great coaching in 10 years' time. So it's wonderful to hear that whilst the players are developing, the coaching is developing as well, and hopefully this trend of producing world-class basketball players, especially in the female ranks, will continue on.
Well, yeah, if your two girls have inherited any of your genes, maybe we'll see them suiting up for the green and gold one day.
Well, I'll be coaching them, so they'll be all right.
They might be in trouble. Who knows?
Yeah.
I was talking to.
They will know how to feed the post, if nothing else.
And that's a key skill that we don't see quite often. That's for sure. But the transition from playing to coaching, is that something that you're interested in, Dan?
I think, well, the first answer is yes, definitely. And I've got a standing offer to head back to my old alma mater in the States and join their program, which I've considered a few times in the past, but I'm pretty comfortable doing what I'm doing. And
calling games with nothing but that.
I was about to say, I'm not sure you could play, coach, and call games. So if there's a decision to be made, I'll stay on this side of the desk, I think.
All right. I like that.
As long as you keep me on the roster.
I know you've worn many hats in your day. I'm sure you could pull off the triple threat, Dan. Hazel Fui's checked in. Ula Matuga dumps it off for Fui. Baseline jump shot is good. Great creativity there by Matuga to hit Fui on the baseline. Got about a minute 20 now to go in the game. It's 95-49 the lead here. Langhorne going to get fouled there by Matuga. That's 5 team fouls for Logan. They're in the penalty, and Langhorne's going to go to line for 2 shots. Don't forget, guys, after this game finishes, we'll wrap things up, and then we'll have the men's game. It should be a great game between the Logan Thunder and the University of Sunshine Coast Rip. We'll finish this stream, and then we'll bring you a separate stream. You can watch all the games on the Basketball Queensland YouTube channel. You can watch past games, and you can also see the upcoming schedule. Next weekend, we'll be back here in Logan as the Logan Thunder take on the Townsville Flames and the Heat, which should be 2 fantastic games as well.
They will be great games. Looking at the ladder earlier, that's in the men's anyway, almost the top of the table, 1 versus 2 clash. That will be a game to watch for sure, either live or obviously via the stream. That's going to be top quality video and commentary as well, but that'll be fantastic matches to be viewing.
Yeah, and Logan, the women's game will also be a great game. Townsville probably not as strong as they have been in years past, but they are a very strong team. And Logan sitting currently in 3rd place, so going to continue with the win. They'll move to 9-3 with the win here tonight. Sunshine Coast will drop to 1-8, and you look ahead to that matchup versus Townsville Flames next weekend. For the Logan Thunder, it's going to be a great game. Kristen Langhorne gets called for an offensive foul there, so that's going to be her night with her 5th team personal foul. Langhorne, I love watching her play too, though, because she just goes 125% every single time. Good rebound there by Dawes, trying to bust out. Patrick comes up with the ball, though. Cross-court pass for Donnelly. Donnelly goes inside for Patrick. Pass nearly stolen. Matuga has it. Patrick going to get called for this travel there. Let's take a look at some stats here. Leading scorer in the game is Kate Gaze with 17. Her 17 leads the way for all scorers. We look at the Logan Thunder. They had 3 other players in double digits. Bridget O'Brien finished with 14 points, 7 rebounds. Michaela Donnelly also had 14, and Sarah Ambrose had 15. You look Cassie Smith with 4 points, 4 assists, and 3 rebounds. On the game, Logan got their shooting percentages up, way up. They'll finish at 50% on the game. They struggled a bit from 3, only hit 3 of 16, but they did a good job on the glass. And they forced a lot of. They really took care of the pill as well. Logan. They only had 8 turnovers on the game. For the Sunshine Coast Rip, Frances Donders finished with 16 points. She was a perfect 4 of 4 from 3. She had 2 assists. Kristen Langhorne with 13, and that's it in double figures for the Rip. The Rip shot 38% from the field, 38% from 3. They really struggled at the free throw line, though, only shooting 7 of 18, and they had 31 turnovers. So just a hard-fought game for the Sunshine Coast Rip. They just really were outclassed by the Thunder tonight.
Can I change speeds very quickly?
Yes.
Michael Cook, the assistant coach for the Sunshine Coast Rip, I've got a fun fact for you about him.
Let's hear it.
The under-14 Queensland baseball team, back in the day, he and I were the battery that led the Queensland Rams through to the medal round. Left-hand pitcher, and he was my catcher. How fantastic.
Boom.
So there you go. We've both woken up and made the transition to basketball.
I'm assuming that was before your growth spurt?
That was about halfway through.
Yeah. You don't see many 6'10" pitchers there anymore. But
I thought I was Randy Johnson for a minute.
Yeah, one of the greatest, Randy Johnson. But that's going to wrap things up here for the women's game. It was a 97-50 win for the Logan Thunder. Guys, we're going to take a break. We'll come back with the men's game. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in to QBL TV, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media.